The alarm clock screamed. He woke with a start, disoriented. The usual weight of familiarity was absent. He looked around the room. It was his room. Yet it felt strangely devoid of something. He couldn't quite place it. He stumbled to the bathroom. The face in the mirror startled him. It was his face, etched with the familiar lines of his life, but his eyes held a flicker of something unknown. Fear? Confusion? He didn't know. He made his way to the kitchen, the aroma of coffee pulling him in. His wife, usually bustling about, was missing. He called out her name, his voice echoing in the silence. Unease coiled in his gut. Stepping outside, he was met with faces he knew. But they looked past him, their expressions blank, unrecognizing. The world tilted on its axis. His world, once a tapestry of shared moments, had become a canvas of strangers. Days blurred into a nightmarish haze. Everywhere he went, the same chilling unfamiliarity greeted him. His colleagues at the architecture firm where he'd worked for years now saw him as a new intern. His best friend since childhood walked right past him at their favorite cafe. The weight of their forgotten connections pressed down on him. The shared jokes, the intimate dinners, the years of woven memories, all gone. He was a ghost in his own life, haunting the edges of conversations he was no longer a part of. The silence in his own home was deafening. The absence of his wife's laughter, her gentle touch, left a gaping hole in his reality. He wandered from room to room, each one filled with the ghosts of their shared life, now intangible and out of reach. The pain of her absence was a physical ache. He tried to convince himself it was a cruel joke, a collective delusion, but the emptiness in their eyes when he spoke their names was undeniable. He was adrift in a sea of faces, each one a painful reminder of his isolation. He needed answers. Desperate, he clung to the hope that there was a reason, an explanation for this bizarre reality. He immersed himself in medical journals, delved into obscure scientific articles, even consulted astrologers and psychics. Each dead end deepened his despair. He visited hospitals, his voice hoarse as he described his impossible situation. Doctors looked at him with a mixture of pity and skepticism. Neurological tests yielded nothing. He was deemed psychologically sound, yet living an impossible truth. Late at night, he would sit alone in his study, surrounded by photographs. Images of smiling faces, his own beaming back at him, now felt like taunts. He searched for clues, some subtle difference in his appearance, anything that could explain the sudden shift in his reality. But the man in the photographs remained unchanged. It was the world around him that had become unrecognizable. He was left with more questions than answers. Was it a mass hallucination? A collective amnesia affecting everyone but him? Or was it something more sinister, something targeting him specifically? The uncertainty gnawed at his sanity. He tried to jog their memories. He recounted shared jokes, inside jokes that had once sent them into fits of laughter. He described cherished memories, hoping to spark a flicker of recognition in their eyes. But his words were met with blank stares, polite smiles, and a chilling sense of disconnect. He visited his parents' house, the house he grew up in. He called out to his mother, his voice breaking with unshed tears. A woman he'd never seen before answered the door, her expression a mixture of confusion and annoyance. He showed her childhood photos, his finger tracing the outlines of his younger self standing beside a beaming couple. The woman shook her head, her eyes filled with pity. He was a stranger, claiming a past that didn't belong to him. Each failed attempt was a blow to his already fractured sense of self. He felt like a faded photograph, the image slowly disappearing until nothing remained but a blank space. He was losing himself, his history dissolving into the ether.